Hello and welcome to Cosmic Sleep Stories. Tonight, we'll drift into a tranquil journey through the cosmos and beyond, exploring 100 gentle, sleep-inducing facts that will carry you softly into the night. Tonight, we explore something extraordinary, something closer than the farthest star, yet just as wondrous. We'll wander gently through the landscape of your own body, that quiet miracle you carry with you always. It holds mysteries deeper than any ocean, processes more intricate than any machine, and rhythms as ancient as the turning of planets. As we move through these soft revelations, feel free to let your eyes grow heavy. There's no need to remember everything. Just let the words wash over you like gentle waves, each one carrying you deeper into rest. Your body already knows these truths. Tonight, we're simply reminding you of the marvel you are. Every moment, countless new cells awaken within you. Right now, as you rest in stillness, as your breath moves softly in and out, your body is quietly creating millions upon millions of brand new cells. They emerge continuously, dividing and organizing themselves without fanfare, without announcement. Some become skin, others blood, still others bone. This process unfolds in the marrow of your bones, in the lining of your organs, across every surface, inside and out. Most of this extraordinary work happens beneath your awareness, a silent regeneration that never pauses. The scale of it stretches beyond easy comprehension, yet it continues faithfully. Your body renews itself in whispers, rebuilding what time touches, restoring what living gently wears away. Your skin transforms itself in endless cycles. What covers you, what meets the world, is never still. Approximately once every lunar cycle, your entire outer layer renews itself completely. Old cells drift away so gradually you'd never notice, replaced by fresh ones rising from beneath. In truth, much of the fine dust that settles in your home began as part of you, tiny fragments released into the air. Over the span of seasons, several pounds of your skin depart and regrow, yet you never feel diminished. This boundary between you and everything else is always changing, always becoming new again. What you touch the world with today will be different tomorrow, a living frontier eternally refreshed. Deep within, your stomach rebuilds its protective walls with remarkable frequency. Inside you lies a chamber filled with fluid strong enough to dissolve metal, powerful enough to break down nearly anything you consume. Yet this caustic environment doesn't harm you. How? Every few days, the cells lining your stomach's inner surface are completely replaced, forming a fresh protective barrier. Without this constant renewal, the very acid that digests your food would digest you. But the body maintains a delicate equilibrium, destruction and creation in perfect balance. Even as you drift towards sleep, microscopic workers rebuild this shield, ensuring that what breaks down food never breaks down you. Your skeleton is not the solid, unchanging framework it appears to be. At this very moment, specialized cells throughout your bones are quietly dissolving old tissue, while others simultaneously build new material. This process, soft as breath, happens everywhere in your frame at once. Your bones reshape themselves based on how you move, what you eat, how you rest. Over the course of roughly a decade, every fragment of your skeleton is replaced, cell by patient cell. Bones aren't carved once and left to stand. They adapt, strengthen where needed, release what's no longer required. Even in perfect stillness, transformation continues. You are being reshaped from within, a gentle evolution guided by invisible hands. Your liver possesses an almost magical ability to restore itself. Unlike most organs, which scar when damaged, your liver can regenerate from just a quarter of its original size, growing back to wholeness like a plant sprouting anew. This remarkable gift has been known since ancient times, woven into myth and story. In reality, the liver's resilience serves a profound purpose. It performs hundreds of different tasks simultaneously, filtering what flows through you, transforming nutrients, neutralizing harmful substances, producing essential proteins. To accomplish all this, it must remain complete. When injury occurs, the liver responds not with permanent damage, but with quiet growth, rebuilding itself one cell at a time until wholeness returns. You are not singular, but plural, a living ecosystem. Deep inside your digestive system dwell countless trillions of microscopic beings, more numerous than all the cells that make you recognizably you. These tiny organisms, bacteria, and fungi and viruses, form what scientists call your microbiome, an invisible community that lives in partnership with you. They help digest what you eat, create vitamins you need, protect against harmful invaders, even influence your moods and thoughts. When you were born, you arrived nearly empty. Within days, a flourishing world took root inside you. You are not one organism moving through life, but a collaboration, human and microbial, interwoven so intimately that the boundaries blur into mystery. Soft and silent, your brain generates surprising energy. The organ resting inside your skull, cushioned and protected, produces constant electrical activity. Billions of neurons fire tiny signals at speeds too swift to imagine, creating enough electricity to power a small lamp. These pulses travel along intricate pathways, forming the foundation of thought, memory, emotion, breath. Yet you never feel this current humming through you. It works in absolute silence, invisible and essential, lighting the interior of consciousness. In a very real sense, you are illuminated from within, not as metaphor, but as biological fact, a softly glowing presence thinking itself into being. Your bones, though they may fracture, possess remarkable strength. Weight for weight, the material your skeleton is made from surpasses steel in its ability to withstand force. A small cube of bone can support the weight of several full-grown adults without breaking. This strength emerges from bone's internal architecture, a lattice-like network that combines rigidity with surprising flexibility. It's composed of protein fibers reinforced with mineral crystals, a composite material shaped not in factories, but by the quiet engineering of life itself. Bone is strong, yes, but also dynamic. It heals, adapts, responds. What appears solid and fixed is actually alive, intelligent, and constantly listening to the signals your body sends. The nails on one hand grow slightly faster than the other. Your fingernails expand continuously, but not at identical rates. Typically, the nails on whichever hand you use most grow a bit more quickly, nourished by increased circulation and the gentle friction of frequent use. On average, a nail extends several millimeters each month, taking half a year to completely replace itself. The fastest growing nail is usually found on your middle finger. This quiet, persistent growth reflects your body's constant drive toward renewal, a tiny detail in the larger symphony of regeneration that never stops, even while you sleep. Your eyes perceive a universe of color. Within each eye, millions of specialized cells respond to wavelengths of light, sending messages to your brain that bloom into the full spectrum of visible experience. Through just three types of color-sensitive cells. Your nervous system can distinguish millions of distinct shades. You can notice the subtle shift from one blue to another, nearly identical one, can trace the gradients in a sunset, can detect variations so fine they have no names. This exquisite sensitivity evolved over countless generations, originally for survival, but it also gives rise to beauty, art, wonder. Your eyes rest in darkness, but in light, they become instruments of astonishing precision. The clear window of your eye breathes air directly. Unlike nearly every other tissue in your body, the cornea, that transparent layer covering your eye, contains no blood vessels. This keeps it perfectly clear for vision. But cells need oxygen to survive. So how does it receive nourishment? The cornea absorbs oxygen straight from the surrounding air. Each time you blink, a thin film of moisture spreads across its surface, capturing oxygen molecules and delivering them inward. When your eyes close in sleep, oxygen intake diminishes. The cornea exists in a delicate balance, sustained not by blood but by breath, drawing life from the atmosphere itself. Your heart generates astonishing pressure with every beat. Though no larger than your closed fist, your heart produces enough force to send blood surging through your entire body. If the main artery were opened, blood would arc outward across the length of a room. This happens over 100,000 times each day, without pause, from your earliest moments until your last. The pressure emerges from coordinated muscle contractions, rhythmic and precise, pushing life through the branching highways of your circulatory system. It is a muscular metronome beneath your ribs, pulsing with quiet certainty, entirely automatic, entirely essential, driving the tides of your blood in endless circulation. You stand taller in the morning than you do by evening. When you wake, you're slightly taller than when you went to bed, sometimes by as much as a finger's width. During the day, as you move and stand, gravity gradually compresses the cushions between your bones, particularly in your spine. Fluid is slowly pressed out of the cartilage, and you settle downward by small degrees. At night, when you lie horizontal, pressure eases. The cartilage reabsorbs moisture and expands once more. It's a daily rhythm of compression and release, a quiet conversation between gravity and biology that subtly reshapes you from dawn to dusk and back again as you rest. Your sleeping brain sometimes blazes with more activity than when awake. Sleep may feel like stillness, like the dimming of lights, but inside your skull, certain stages bring intense neural activity. During the phase when vivid dreams unfold, your brain can become even more active than during waking hours. Networks involved in memory, emotion, and imagination light up brilliantly. This may be when your brain sorts through the day's experiences, filing away what matters, letting go of what doesn't. Far from shutting down, your sleeping mind is engaged in deep work, processing, integrating, exploring inner landscapes while your body rests beneath warm covers. Over time, your entire skeleton is quietly replaced. The bones that support you may feel permanent as stone, but in truth, they're constantly being taken apart and rebuilt. Old bone tissue dissolves while new material forms in its place, responding to how you move, what you consume, how you live. Across roughly 10 years, nearly every cell in your skeleton is renewed. Exercise encourages growth. Stillness leads to subtle loss. Your bones aren't simply maintaining themselves, they're adapting in real time, engineering your framework according to the life you lead. Your skeleton is not fixed. It's a living structure, tuned continuously to your existence. You emit a faint glow, though your eyes cannot perceive it. Always, invisibly, your body releases soft light as a byproduct of metabolism. When high-energy molecules interact with oxygen inside your cells, tiny flashes of photons escape into the surrounding space. This glow is far too dim for human vision to detect, roughly 1,000 times weaker than the threshold of sight. But with sensitive instruments, scientists have captured images of this gentle radiance. Strangely, its intensity follows the rhythm of your day, growing brighter in late afternoon, fading through the night. You are not merely warm and alive, you are quietly luminous, broadcasting the inner fire of your metabolism in whispers of light. Your nervous system transmits signals at breathtaking speed. When your brain sends a command to your hand, to your foot, to your voice, the message races along neurons faster than any vehicle on Earth. Some nerve impulses travel at speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour. This astonishing velocity comes from a biological structure called myelin, which insulates nerve fibers and allows electrical signals to leap from point to point. It's this speed that lets you react almost instantly, catching something before it falls, pulling back from heat before you're burned. Beneath your skin, a lightning network fires constantly, faster than thought itself. Your nose can distinguish a vast universe of scents. For many years, it was believed humans could recognize thousands of different smells. Recent research suggests the number may reach into the trillions. Inside your nasal passages, hundreds of types of scent receptors line the inner surfaces, each tuned to detect specific chemical shapes floating in the air. These receptors combine their signals in countless ways, forming a language of smell almost infinite in vocabulary. You can recognize the scent of rain before it falls, recall a memory triggered by perfume, detect the warning of smoke without conscious effort. Your nose is not passive. It's a vast, invisible library, constantly reading the world around you. Like certain creatures of the deep ocean, you glow softly in darkness. Humans, too, are bioluminescent, though the light we produce is invisible without special equipment. This glow doesn't arise from exotic chemistry, but from ordinary metabolism. As your cells process energy, oxygen molecules interact with fats and proteins, releasing small bursts of photons. These are not heat signatures, but actual visible light, radiating faintly from your face, hands, chest. The intensity follows your internal clock, peaking in late afternoon, fading overnight. You cannot see it yourself, but your body glows gently in the dark, a tender candle burning from within, lit by the quiet chemistry of being alive. Your bones cease growing longer, but they never truly stop changing. During childhood and adolescence, your bones stretch rapidly in length as growth plates expand. By your early 20s, those plates close and your height stabilizes. But that doesn't mean your skeleton is finished. Bones can continue to thicken throughout life, especially in response to physical stress. If you lift weights or perform regular labor, your bones respond by becoming denser, broader. Even the contours of your jaw, your pelvis, your ribcage can shift with time. Your bones are not frozen. They remain reactive, dynamic, responsive to how you live, quietly reshaping themselves long after you stop growing taller. You can survive with far less than you might expect. It may seem that every organ is essential, and many are, but the human body possesses surprising resilience. You can live without your spleen, one kidney, one lung, your gallbladder, your appendix, even much of your liver or intestines. When organs are removed due to illness or injury, the remaining systems often adapt. The liver regenerates. The remaining kidney works harder. Functions reroute and compensate. This adaptability reflects millions of years of evolutionary redundancy. Though each organ serves a purpose, the body's ability to persist even when incomplete is among its most remarkable traits. Your intestines stretch far longer than you might imagine. Coiled within your abdomen, folded with geometric precision, your intestines extend more than the height of several people standing on each other's shoulders. The small intestine alone accounts for most of this length, responsible for absorbing nutrients from food. The large intestine adds several more feet, reclaiming water and compacting waste. All of this tubing fits neatly inside you through tight, efficient folds. If laid out straight, it would stretch across a room. Despite its length, food travels this winding path in a matter of hours, a journey of transformation feeding every cell in your body. The fluid in your stomach is astonishingly powerful. Inside that muscular chamber lies acid strong enough to corrode metal, potent enough to break down nearly anything you swallow. In controlled tests, stomach acid can even dissolve thin steel given time. This strength is necessary to dismantle proteins and destroy harmful microbes. Yet your stomach doesn't digest itself. A protective layer of mucus constantly renews, shielding your tissues from the very acid they produce. Every meal triggers this biochemical storm, a carefully controlled blaze of chemical energy, breaking food down into its smallest components so that life can continue, so that nourishment can flow. Every day, your body produces nearly a bottle's worth of mucus. Though rarely celebrated, mucus is among your body's most versatile substances. Your respiratory and digestive systems generate close to a liter of it daily. It lines your nose, throat, lungs, and gut, trapping dust, allergens, bacteria before they penetrate deeper. It keeps airways moist, helps food glide smoothly through your intestines, and contains enzymes and antibodies that fight infection. Most of the time, you swallow it without noticing. It's not glamorous, but it's critical. This slippery, unseen barrier works tirelessly to protect, coat, and carry away the microscopic debris of living. You blink countless times throughout the day. Without thinking, your eyelids close and open roughly 20 times each minute. Each blink lasts only a fraction of a second, but over a year, that amounts to millions of closures. These tiny movements aren't just for moisture or protection. They also refresh your vision, rest your eyes, and shield them from sudden changes in light. Remarkably, your brain edits out the darkness during each blink, creating a seamless sense of sight even though your eyes briefly shut. Blinking is both mechanical and neurological, a rhythm that maintains clarity of vision without ever interrupting your experience of the world. Even at rest, your muscles maintain gentle tension. When you're completely relaxed, lying still, your muscles are never entirely slack. They hold a subtle state of contraction known as muscle tone, controlled by your nervous system. This baseline tension allows you to remain upright, balanced, ready to move. Without it, you would collapse, unable to maintain posture. It requires very little energy, yet provides immense stability. Even in sleep, some muscle tone persists, just enough to keep your limbs aligned and your breathing steady. Only during certain deep stages does some of this tension finally release. At all other times, Your body quietly holds itself together. Your heart beats rhythmically, ceaselessly, day and night. Each day, it contracts roughly 100,000 times, circulating blood through an intricate network of vessels that would stretch many thousands of miles if laid end to end. That means tens of millions of beats per year, billions over a lifetime. It never rests. From your earliest existence in the womb to your final moment, your heart works without pause, squeezing, filling, releasing. It adjusts continuously to your posture, your breath, your emotions. It slows in sleep, quickens in movement, flutters with feeling. Your heart is the pulse of your existence, a steady percussion beneath the music of your body. Your tongue carries a unique signature. Just like your fingerprints, the surface of your tongue bears a distinct pattern of ridges, textures, and shapes that belong only to you. While not commonly used for identification, tongue prints are so specific that researchers have explored them for biometric recognition. Your tongue's appearance is shaped by genetics, development, and daily use, from how you speak and chew to how you taste and swallow. It's an organ of precision, strength, and sensitivity, with fine control that allows clear speech, safe eating, and the ability to detect flavor in exquisite detail. Quietly, it carries your personal mark. You are made of ancient starlight. Every atom in your body heavier than hydrogen was forged inside a star. Carbon, oxygen, calcium, iron, the very elements composing your cells, bones, blood, were created in stellar furnaces through processes of unimaginable heat and pressure. When massive stars reached the end of their lives and scattered themselves across space in brilliant transformations, they seeded the raw materials for planets, oceans, and eventually life. The atoms now forming your body once drifted in the cold void between stars before finding their way to Earth, then into soil, water, food, and finally you. You are made not just of matter, but of deep time and cosmic memory. Your brain contains more connections than stars in a galaxy. Inside your skull rest billions of neurons, and each one can link with thousands of others. In total, the number of connections is estimated in the hundreds of trillions, more than all the stars in the Milky Way. These connections form the foundation of memory, perception, movement, emotion. They're constantly changing, strengthening, weakening, rerouting in response to experience. Your brain is not static but fluid, a living map always in motion, adapting and learning. With each thought, with each memory recalled, a pulse moves through this vast inner constellation. Inside your head is a universe, electric and infinitely complex. Your mind can create entire worlds without external input. Even in complete silence and darkness, your brain can generate vivid sensory experiences, sights, sounds, entire scenes, all without anything actually happening outside. These are hallucinations, occurring when neural circuits fire in the absence of real stimuli. This happens during dreams, in sensory deprivation, or through certain neurological states. What's extraordinary is how real these illusions feel. The same areas processing actual perception activate during these internal creations. Your brain is powerful enough to simulate reality, to conjure light and sound and touch from nothing but its own electrical patterns. Goosebumps are echoes of an ancient past. When you're cold or moved by powerful emotion, tiny muscles at the base of each hair follicle contract, causing your skin to dimple and your hairs to stand upright. This response once served our ancestors well. It fluffed up body hair to trap warmth or made them appear larger during moments of fear. Today, with less body hair, the effect is mostly vestigial, a ghost from evolution's deep past. But the mechanism remains, triggered by temperature, awe, or even music. Goosebumps are physiological memories, ancient instincts still wired into your nervous system after unimaginable stretches of time. Your DNA unfolds and refolds endlessly throughout each day. Inside every cell lies a nucleus containing strands of genetic material nearly as long as a person is tall. To fit, this DNA is wound tightly into compact structures. But DNA isn't static. Throughout the day, it constantly unspools to allow genes to be read, copied, repaired. In a single cell, this happens thousands of times. Across your trillions of cells, the total number of these unfoldings reaches into numbers too vast to comprehend. Enzymes unzip the double helix, like opening a book. Others transcribe the code or mend broken sequences. Your DNA is a living library, continuously read and edited. Your bones constantly exchange old minerals for new. Bone may appear dry and lifeless, but it's alive and always changing. One of its key processes is mineral turnover. Specialized cells dissolve old bone tissue, while others lay down fresh layers enriched with calcium. This ongoing exchange helps regulate calcium levels throughout your body, ensuring muscles contract properly, nerves signal efficiently, and your heartbeat remains steady. When needed, bones release calcium into your bloodstream. When there's excess, they store it away. Bone is more than structure. It's a mineral reservoir, adjusting chemically every day, balancing the framework of your body with the rhythms of your metabolism. Each year, you produce enough saliva to fill 2 large tubs. Every time you swallow, speak, taste, your salivary glands activate. On average, they produce several liters of saliva daily, which over a year amounts to enough liquid to fill 2 bathtubs. Saliva may seem simple, but it performs numerous vital functions. It begins breaking down starches, protects teeth from decay, lubricates food for easier swallowing, and helps fight microbes. It even plays a role in taste, dissolving compounds so they can reach your taste buds. Though often overlooked, this clear fluid is one of your body's tireless workers, active day and night, protecting, digesting, defending in quiet service. Your brain, though it processes pain, cannot feel it itself. Despite being the command center for sensing discomfort throughout your entire body, the brain itself contains no pain receptors. The tissue can be touched, examined, even operated upon, without causing any sensation at all. That's why certain surgeries are performed while patients remain fully awake. Surgeons can gently stimulate specific regions and ask the person to speak, move, or recall memories, helping them navigate around vital functions. Any pain felt during head injuries or headaches comes from surrounding structures like membranes, blood vessels, or muscles, not the brain tissue itself. It is one of biology's quiet ironies. The organ that processes all pain cannot experience it, a silent observer behind every sensation. Your digestive system has its own independent mind. Lining the walls of your gut is a vast network of neurons, over 100 million of them, known as the enteric nervous system. It operates largely on its own, controlling digestion, absorption, and the rhythmic waves that move food along. This system can sense what's inside your intestines, release enzymes, trigger feelings of nausea or fullness, all without instructions from your brain. Scientists sometimes call it the second brain. not just for its independence, but for its surprising role in mood and well-being. It produces many of the same chemical messengers as your brain, including those linked to contentment, connecting digestion and emotion in ways both subtle and profound. Your sense of balance comes from tiny fluid-filled chambers. Hidden deep inside your inner ear are 3 small curved canals filled with liquid and lined with microscopic hair-like sensors. As you move your head, the fluid shifts, bending these delicate structures and sending signals to your brain about direction and motion. This system, called the vestibular apparatus, is essential for balance, orientation, and spatial awareness. It works together with your eyes and muscles to help you walk upright, stabilize your gaze, and know where you are in space. When this fluid moves unusually, perhaps during spinning or illness, it can cause dizziness. But when functioning properly, it gives you the constant, quiet sense of where up is, even with your eyes closed. You breathe through one nostril at a time in alternating rhythm. Though it feels like both nostrils draw air equally, your body actually favors one side at a time. This subtle shift, known as the nasal cycle, happens every few hours. As one nostril becomes more open, the other gently narrows due to changes in blood flow to surrounding tissue. This rhythm helps regulate airflow, humidify incoming air, and maximize your ability to detect scents. Some odors are better perceived with slower airflow, others with faster. Your brain orchestrates this quiet alternation without conscious awareness. Even as you sleep, your nostrils take turns, a soft relay of breath optimizing function in the background of every moment. The tiny sensors in your ear help you locate sound. Inside your cochlea, the spiral-shaped structure of the inner ear, lie thousands of microscopic hair cells. These aren't hairs like on your skin, but delicate, flexible projections that respond to vibrations in the surrounding fluid. Each cell is tuned to a specific frequency, like individual keys on a piano. When sound enters your ear, it travels as pressure waves that move the cochlear fluid and bend these hair cells. This mechanical bending converts into electrical signals, which your brain interprets as sound. But your brain also uses subtle differences in timing and intensity between both ears to determine where a sound originates. Your ability to locate sound is not just hearing. It's spatial mathematics performed in silence. Some people can hear the movement of their own eyes. In a rare condition known as superior canal dehiscence syndrome, a tiny opening in one of the inner ear's bony canals causes sound to be conducted differently. People with this condition can hear their own heartbeat, footsteps, chewing, and even the subtle mechanical sound of their eyeballs moving in their sockets. It happens because the gap in bone creates an unusual connection between motion sensing and sound sensing pathways. While this can be disorienting, it reveals just how finely tuned and sensitive the inner ear truly is. We are constantly surrounded by internal sounds, but in most people, the brain gently filters them into silence. Your ears can perceive a vast range of frequencies. The lowest sounds you can detect, around 20 cycles per second, feel more like vibrations than tones, deep and rumbling. The highest, near 20,000 cycles, are sharp and piercing, often just at the edge of awareness. This wide spectrum allows you to enjoy the deep resonance of a cello and the bright shimmer of birdsong. With age, the upper range tends to decline, especially for higher pitches. Yet even within your lifetime, Your hearing spans nearly 10 musical octaves, far more than most creatures. The ear translates pressure waves in air into neural signals with exquisite speed and precision. It is both mechanical marvel and acoustic window to the world. Your eyes grow and change throughout your life. Though often thought to remain constant, your eyes actually evolve over time. At birth, an infant's eyes are roughly 2/3 the size of an adult's. They continue growing gradually through childhood, reaching near adult dimensions during the teenage years. But even in adulthood, subtle changes continue. The lens thickens with age. The muscles around the iris may weaken. The shape of the eyeball can shift slightly, which is why many people develop changes in vision as they grow older. These small alterations affect how light focuses. The eye may appear unchanging, but it evolves quietly, adapting to the long arc of a lifetime, adjusting its lens with each passing year. Your skeleton stabilizes, but your face keeps transforming. By your late 20s, most skeletal growth is complete. Growth plates close, long bones reach their final length, and overall height settles. But certain parts continue to shift, especially your face. The bones of the skull undergo subtle remodeling. The jaw may change shape, the nose can become more prominent, and the eye sockets may deepen. At the same time, the soft tissues of the face, fat deposits, muscles, and skin gradually shift and change volume, altering the contours of your appearance. These changes are slow but continuous, reflecting the passage of time not just through aging skin, but through the quiet reshaping of bone beneath. Your liver performs a vast symphony of tasks. Weighing several pounds and located just beneath your ribs, the liver performs hundreds of distinct biochemical functions simultaneously. It filters toxins from blood, produces bile for digestion, breaks down medications, stores energy, regulates blood clotting, metabolizes fats and proteins, and helps balance hormones. It also plays a key role in immune defense and neutralizing harmful substances you absorb. Unlike many organs with specialized roles, the liver works on dozens of processes at once, like a control center humming with silent activity. It is tireless, adaptable, and uniquely regenerative. Without it, life would be impossible. With it, biological complexity becomes seamlessly manageable. Your red blood cells carry breath but have no nucleus. Unlike most cells, mature red blood cells lack a nucleus entirely. This absence makes room for hemoglobin, the iron-rich protein that binds oxygen. As a result, red blood cells can carry far more oxygen than if they had retained their nucleus. They begin life with one, but shed it during development in the bone marrow. This transformation gives them their distinctive biconcave shape, maximizing surface area and flexibility. These cells can bend and squeeze through capillaries thinner than a strand of hair. But their nucleus-free design comes at a cost. Red blood cells can't divide or repair themselves. After roughly 4 months, they're removed and replaced, each one a short-lived courier of breath. Your body holds enough fat to make several bars of soap. Fat plays many roles in the human body: energy storage, insulation, hormone regulation, and organ protection. But if rendered down and processed, the average adult carries enough body fat to create roughly 7 full-size bars of soap. This unusual comparison comes from the historical practice of soap making, which involved animal fat mixed with alkaline substances. Of course, your fat is far more than raw material. It's metabolically active tissue. It releases hormones, responds to stress, and communicates with other systems throughout your body. Its distribution and function vary by genetics, lifestyle, and biological sex. Though often misunderstood, fat is essential. Without it, the body cannot function properly, and life becomes fragile rather than resilient. A single strand of hair can support surprising weight. Though hair appears delicate, each individual strand is remarkably strong. A single human hair can hold up to 100 grams of weight without breaking, roughly the weight of a small apple. This strength comes from its structure, a dense arrangement of keratin proteins tightly coiled and bonded together in layers. When combined across an entire scalp, human hair could theoretically support the weight of an adult person. Beyond strength, hair is also remarkably elastic. It can stretch up to nearly a third of its length when wet and return to normal without damage. While each strand may seem fragile, together they form one of nature's most efficient fiber systems, light, resilient, and quietly powerful. The longest muscle in your body stretches from hip to knee. Running diagonally across your thigh, the sartorius muscle is the longest muscle in the human body. It extends from the outer edge of your hip, curves gracefully across the thigh, and ends near the inside of your knee. This slender ribbon of muscle assists in a range of movements, flexing the hip, bending the knee, and allowing the leg to rotate outward. It's what lets you cross your legs or pivot your foot to the side. Though not especially large or powerful, the sartorius plays an elegant role in everyday motion. Its length and positioning reflect the body's architectural grace, long lines engineered for movement, balance, and subtle control. You engage many muscles just to smile. A smile might seem like a simple gesture, but it's powered by a small orchestra of muscles working in harmony. More than 30 individual muscles coordinate to lift the corners of your mouth, crease the skin around your eyes, raise your cheeks, and adjust your jaw. Even the slightest variation in a smile can involve different muscle groups, reflecting emotions ranging from joy to irony. Some of these muscles work voluntarily, while others activate automatically when you feel genuine happiness. The brain's emotional centers are wired directly to these facial muscles, which is why authentic smiles are difficult to fake. Every smile is a delicate performance, mechanical, emotional, and deeply human. Some of your blood vessels are impossibly narrow. Your circulatory system stretches vast distances throughout your body, but some of its most critical passages are also the tiniest. Capillaries, the smallest blood vessels, are so narrow that red blood cells must pass through in single file, often bending and squeezing to fit. These vessels connect arteries and veins, allowing oxygen and nutrients to pass into tissues and waste products to be carried away. Capillary walls are just one cell thick, enabling easy exchange. At this microscopic scale, blood doesn't flow in broad streams, but trickles precisely, slowly, intimately. Life is sustained not only by the great pulses of the heart, but by these silent, single-file exchanges deep within your tissues. Your brain processes pain, but cannot experience injury to itself. The human brain interprets discomfort throughout your body, yet it lacks the specialized receptors that detect damage. The neurons composing your brain cannot feel pain directly. That's why surgeons can operate on brain tissue while patients remain conscious without causing direct suffering. However, the tissues surrounding the brain, the membranes, scalp, blood vessels, and nerves, are rich in pain receptors. That's why headaches, trauma, or swelling within the skull can be agonizing. Pain associated with the brain often arises from these surrounding structures. The paradox is striking. The organ responsible for all feeling is itself unable to register injury within its own walls, a central switchboard insensate to its own harm. There are more stars in your brain than in the night sky. Your brain contains billions of neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections with others. In total, the synaptic links number in the hundreds of trillions, exceeding the stars visible in the galaxy above. These connections form the substrate of memory, perception, movement, emotion, and consciousness itself. They are in constant flux, strengthening with use, weakening with neglect, rerouting in response to experience. Your brain is not fixed but fluid, a living constellation always in motion. With each thought, with each feeling, a pulse travels through this inner cosmos. Inside your skull lies a universe as vast and mysterious as the one stretching endlessly above. Your body glows faintly, invisibly, in the dark. You are bioluminescent, emitting soft light as a natural byproduct of metabolism. As cells process energy, reactive molecules interact with fats and proteins, releasing tiny bursts of photons. This glow is far too faint for the naked eye to perceive, roughly 1,000 times dimmer than the threshold of human vision. But with sensitive instruments, scientists have captured this gentle radiance emanating from your face, chest, and hands. Interestingly, the intensity follows your body's internal rhythm, peaking in late afternoon and fading overnight. You cannot see it yourself, but you are quietly luminous, a tender flame burning from within, lit by the chemistry of being alive. Your bones eventually stop lengthening, but continue adapting. During childhood and adolescence, bones grow rapidly as growth plates expand. By your early 20s, these plates close and your height becomes fixed. But that doesn't mean your skeleton stops changing. While length remains constant, bones can continue to thicken and reshape throughout life, especially in response to physical stress. If you engage in regular weightlifting or endure years of labor, your bones respond by becoming denser and broader. Even the contours of your jaw, pelvis, and ribcage can shift with age. Your bones are not frozen in time. They remain reactive, dynamic, and responsive to how you live, quietly reshaping themselves long after you stop growing taller. You can survive with surprisingly few organs. It may seem that every organ is absolutely essential, and many are, but the human body demonstrates remarkable resilience. You can live without a spleen, one kidney, one lung, your gallbladder, your appendix, your stomach, your colon, or even substantial portions of your liver and small intestine. In some cases, these organs can be surgically removed due to injury or disease, and the remaining systems adapt. The liver regenerates, the remaining kidney compensates, functions reroute and heal. This adaptability reflects millions of years of evolutionary backup systems. Though each organ serves important purposes, the body's ability to persist even when incomplete is among its most extraordinary traits. Your intestines stretch much farther than you might imagine. Coiled within your abdomen, folded with remarkable precision, your intestines extend more than 20 feet in total length. The small intestine alone accounts for most of this distance, responsible for absorbing nutrients from food. The large intestine adds several more feet, reclaiming water and compacting waste. All of this tubing fits neatly inside your torso through efficient folds and muscular organization. If laid out straight, it would stretch across a modest room. Despite its length, food moves through this winding path in a matter of hours, a journey of digestion, transformation, and absorption. You carry this complex pipeline with you always, silent and efficient, feeding every cell in your body. The acid in your stomach is astonishingly strong. Inside your stomach lies fluid powerful enough to break down metal, potent enough to dissolve nearly anything you consume. Gastric acid, primarily composed of hydrochloric acid, has a pH low enough to corrode steel under the right conditions. This strength is necessary to dismantle proteins and eliminate harmful microbes in your food. Yet your stomach doesn't harm itself. A protective mucus layer constantly renews, shielding your tissue from the very acid it produces. Every meal triggers this controlled biochemical reaction, a carefully managed blaze of chemical energy, breaking food down to its fundamental building blocks so nourishment can flow into your bloodstream. You produce nearly a liter of mucus daily. Though rarely celebrated, mucus is among your body's most versatile and essential substances. Every day, your respiratory and digestive systems generate close to a liter of it. It lines your nose, throat, lungs, and gut, trapping dust, bacteria, and allergens before they reach deeper tissues. Mucus keeps your airways moist, helps move food through your intestines, and contains enzymes and antibodies to fight infection. Most of the time, you swallow it unconsciously. It's not glamorous, but it's absolutely critical. This slippery, unseen barrier works tirelessly to protect, coat, and carry away the microscopic debris of living, operating in quiet service every moment. You blink thousands upon thousands of times each day. Without thinking, your eyelids close and open roughly 20 times every minute. Each blink lasts only a fraction of a second, but over the course of a year, that amounts to more than 10 million separate closures. These tiny movements aren't just for moisture or protection. They also help rest the visual system, refresh the tear film coating your eyes, and shield them from dust or sudden changes in light. Remarkably, your brain edits out the darkness during each blink, creating a seamless sense of vision, even though your eyes briefly shut. Blinking is both biological and neurological, a rhythm that maintains the clarity of sight without ever interrupting your continuous view of the world. Your muscles maintain gentle tension even at rest. Even when you're completely relaxed, lying perfectly still, your muscles are never entirely slack. They hold a subtle state of contraction known as muscle tone, controlled by signals from your nervous system. This baseline tension allows your body to remain upright, balanced, and ready to move at a moment's notice. Without it, you would slump or collapse, unable to maintain posture. This constant readiness uses very little energy, yet provides immense stability. Even as you sleep, muscle tone persists, just enough to keep your limbs aligned and your breathing steady. It's only during certain stages of deep sleep that some muscles finally fully relax. At all other times, your body quietly holds itself together, a gentle hum of readiness beneath your skin. Your heart beats ceaselessly, day and night, throughout your entire life. Each day, it contracts roughly 100,000 times, circulating blood through an intricate network of vessels stretching vast distances throughout your body. That amounts to tens of millions of beats per year, billions over an average lifetime. It never pauses, never rests. From your earliest moments in the womb to your final breath, your heart works without interruption, squeezing, filling, releasing in perfect rhythm. It adjusts continuously to your posture, your breathing, your emotions. It slows when you sleep, quickens when you move, flutters when you feel. Your heart is the pulse of your existence, a steady percussion beneath the music of your body, tireless and true. Your tongue bears a pattern as unique as your fingerprint. No two tongues are exactly alike. Just like fingerprints, the surface of your tongue displays a distinct pattern of ridges, textures, and shapes that belong only to you. While not commonly used for identification, tongue prints are so specific that researchers have explored their potential for biometric security systems. Your tongue's appearance is shaped by genetics, development, and daily habits, from how you speak and chew to how you taste and swallow. It is an organ of precision, strength, and sensitivity, with fine motor control that allows clear speech, safe eating, and the ability to detect flavor in exquisite detail. Quietly, invisibly, it carries your personal signature. You are constructed from ancient starlight. Every atom in your body heavier than hydrogen was forged inside the heart of a star. Carbon, oxygen, calcium, iron, the very elements composing your cells, bones, and blood, were created in stellar furnaces through processes of unimaginable heat and pressure. When massive stars reached the end of their existence and transformed themselves in brilliant stellar events, they scattered these elements across space, seeding the raw materials for planets, oceans, and eventually life. The atoms now forming your body once drifted in the cold emptiness between stars before finding their way to Earth, then into soil, water, food, and finally you. You are made not just of matter, but of deep time, cosmic history, and the long memory of stars. Your brain contains more connections than stars in a galaxy. Inside your skull rest billions of neurons, and each one can link with thousands of others. In total, the number of synaptic connections is estimated in the hundreds of trillions, more than all the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. These connections form the foundation of memory, perception, movement, emotion, and consciousness. They're constantly changing, strengthening with use, weakening with neglect, rerouting in response to experience. Your brain is not static but fluid, a living constellation always in motion, adapting, learning, rewiring. With each thought, with each memory recalled, a pulse moves through this vast inner network. Inside your head is a universe, electric, complex, and infinitely mysterious. Your mind can conjure entire worlds from within. Even in complete silence and total darkness, your brain can generate vivid sensory experiences, sights, sounds, textures, entire scenes, all without any input from the outside world. These are hallucinations, occurring when neural circuits fire in the absence of real stimuli. This happens during dreams, in sensory deprivation, or through certain neurological conditions. What's remarkable is how utterly real these illusions can feel. The same areas of the brain that process actual perception activate during these internal creations. Your brain is powerful enough to simulate reality convincingly, to conjure light and sound and sensation from nothing but its own electrical patterns, a projector creating worlds from within. Goosebumps are ancient evolutionary memories. When you're cold, frightened, or moved by powerful emotion, tiny muscles at the base of each hair follicle contract, causing your skin to dimple and your hairs to stand upright. This response once served our distant ancestors well. It fluffed up body hair to trap warmth, or made them appear larger during moments of confrontation or fear. Today, with far less body hair, the effect is mostly vestigial, a remnant from evolution's deep past. But the mechanism remains, triggered by temperature, awe, fear, or even stirring music. Goosebumps are physiological echoes, ancient instincts still wired into your nervous system after unimaginable stretches of evolutionary time. Your DNA continuously unfolds and refolds throughout each day. Inside every cell lies a nucleus containing strands of genetic material nearly as long as you are tall. To fit inside such a tiny space, this DNA is wound tightly into compact structures called chromosomes. But DNA isn't static or dormant. Throughout the day, it constantly unspools to allow genes to be read, copied, or repaired. In a single cell, this dynamic process happens thousands of times. Across your trillions of cells, the total number of these unfoldings reaches into quantities beyond easy comprehension. Enzymes unzip the double helix like opening a book. Others transcribe the genetic code or mend broken sequences. Your DNA is a living library, continuously read, edited, and maintained. Your bones perpetually exchange old minerals for new. Bone may appear dry and lifeless, but it's vibrantly alive and constantly changing. One of its key processes is mineral turnover, where specialized cells dissolve old bone tissue, while others simultaneously lay down fresh layers enriched with calcium and other minerals. This ongoing exchange helps regulate calcium levels throughout your bloodstream, ensuring muscles contract properly, nerves transmit signals efficiently, and your heartbeat remains steady. When needed, bones release calcium into circulation. When there's excess, they absorb and store it. Bone is more than structure. It's a dynamic mineral reservoir, adjusting chemically every day, balancing the physical framework of your body with the rhythms of your internal chemistry. Each year, you produce enough saliva to fill 2 bathtubs. Every time you swallow, speak, or taste food, your salivary glands spring into action. On average, they produce several liters of saliva each day, which over the span of a year amounts to enough liquid to fill 2 large bathtubs. Saliva may seem simple, but it performs numerous vital functions. It begins the digestion of starches, protects teeth from decay, lubricates food for easier swallowing, and helps defend against harmful microbes. It even plays a subtle role in taste, dissolving chemical compounds so they can reach your taste buds. Though often overlooked, this clear fluid is one of your body's tireless multitaskers, active day and night, protecting, digesting, and defending in quiet, constant service. Your brain feels no pain despite processing all sensation. The human brain interprets discomfort and injury throughout your entire body, yet it contains no pain receptors itself. The tissue of the brain can be touched, stimulated, or even operated upon without causing any direct sensation. That's why certain surgeries are performed while patients remain fully conscious, allowing surgeons to map critical areas by observing responses. However, the tissues surrounding the brain, the protective membranes, blood vessels, scalp, and muscles, are rich in pain-sensing nerves. That's why headaches, trauma, or pressure within the skull can be intensely painful. The pain doesn't originate in brain tissue, but in the structures around it. The paradox is profound. The organ responsible for all feeling cannot feel injury to itself. Your gut has its own independent nervous system. Embedded in the walls of your digestive tract is a vast network of neurons, over 100 million of them, collectively known as the enteric nervous system. It operates largely autonomously, controlling digestion, nutrient absorption, and the rhythmic contractions that propel food along its journey. This system can sense what's inside your intestines, release digestive enzymes, trigger feelings of nausea or satisfaction, all without direct input from your brain. Scientists sometimes call it the second brain, not just for its independence, but for its surprising influence on mood and overall well-being. It produces many of the same neurotransmitters as your brain, including those associated with calm and contentment, linking digestion and emotion in deeply biological ways. Your sense of balance emerges from fluid-filled chambers. Hidden deep within your inner ear are 3 tiny curved canals, filled with fluid and lined with microscopic hair-like sensors. As you move your head in any direction, the fluid shifts, bending these delicate structures and sending precise signals to your brain about motion and orientation. This system, called the vestibular apparatus, is essential for balance, spatial awareness, and coordinated movement. It works in harmony with your eyes and muscles to help you walk upright, stabilize your gaze while moving, and know instinctively where you are in space. When this fluid shifts unusually, perhaps during spinning or inner ear disturbances, it can cause dizziness or vertigo, but when functioning properly, it provides the constant, quiet awareness of which direction is up. You breathe through one nostril at a time in gentle alternation, though it feels as if both nostrils draw air equally. Your body actually favors one side at any given moment. This subtle shift, known as the nasal cycle, occurs every few hours throughout the day and night. As one nostril becomes more open, the other gently narrows due to changes in blood flow to the surrounding tissue. This alternating rhythm helps regulate airflow, humidify incoming air more efficiently, and maximize your ability to detect different scents. Some odors are better perceived with slower, gentler airflow, while others require faster movement. Your brain orchestrates this quiet cycle without any conscious awareness. Even as you sleep, your nostrils take turns, a soft relay of breath optimizing function moment by moment. The tiny sensors in your ear help you locate where sounds come from. Inside the cochlea, the spiral-shaped structure of your inner ear, lie thousands of microscopic hair cells. These aren't hairs like those on your skin, but delicate, flexible projections that respond to vibrations in the fluid surrounding them. Each cell is tuned to detect a specific frequency, like individual keys arranged across a piano. When sound waves enter your ear, they travel through this fluid, bending the hair cells in precise patterns. This mechanical bending converts into electrical signals that your brain interprets as sound. But your brain also analyzes subtle differences in timing and intensity between both ears, allowing you to determine precisely where a sound originates in space. Your ability to locate sound isn't just hearing, it's spatial computation performed in milliseconds. Some individuals can hear their own internal movements in a rare condition called superior canal dehiscence syndrome. A tiny opening forms in one of the inner ear's protective bony canals, causing sound to conduct differently through the skull. People with this condition can hear their own heartbeat, their footsteps reverberating through bone, the sound of their own chewing, and even the subtle mechanical noise of their eyeballs moving in their sockets. It occurs because the gap in bone creates an unusual pathway connecting motion-sensing structures with sound-processing ones. While this can be disconcerting, it reveals just how finely tuned and exquisitely sensitive the inner ear truly is. We are constantly surrounded by internal sounds and movements, but in most people, the brain gently filters them into silence. Your ears perceive an enormous range of frequencies. The lowest sounds you can detect, around 20 vibrations per second, feel more like subtle vibrations than distinct tones, deep and rumbling like distant thunder. The highest frequencies you can hear, near 20,000 vibrations per second, are sharp and piercing, often right at the edge of perception. This wide spectrum allows you to experience the deep resonance of a cello's low notes and the bright shimmer of a bird's song simultaneously. With age, sensitivity to higher frequencies tends to decline gradually. Yet even across a lifetime, your hearing can span nearly 10 musical octaves, a range far broader than most creatures possess. The ear translates invisible pressure waves in air into neural signals with remarkable speed and precision, serving as both a mechanical marvel and an acoustic window to the world around you. Your eyes grow and evolve throughout your entire life. Though often assumed to remain constant after childhood, your eyes actually continue changing subtly across decades. At birth, an infant's eyes are roughly 2/3 the size of an adult's. They grow gradually through childhood and adolescence, reaching near adult dimensions during the teenage years. But even in adulthood, transformation continues. The lens thickens slowly with age. The muscles controlling the iris may weaken over time. The shape of the eyeball itself can shift slightly, which is why many people experience changes in vision, particularly difficulty focusing on close objects, as they grow older. These small alterations affect how light is focused onto the retina. The eye may appear unchanging from day to day, but it evolves quietly over the long arc of a lifetime, adjusting and adapting year by year. Your skeleton stabilizes, but your face continues reshaping. By your late 20s, most skeletal growth is complete. The growth plates in long bones close permanently, and your overall height becomes fixed. But certain parts of your body, especially your face, continue to transform throughout life. The bones of the skull undergo subtle but continuous remodeling. The jawline may change shape. The nose can become more prominent. The eye sockets may deepen gradually. Simultaneously, the soft tissues of the face, fat deposits, muscles, and skin shift and change in volume and position, altering the contours of your appearance. These changes unfold slowly but persistently, reflecting the passage of time not only through aging skin, but through the quiet, ongoing reshaping of the bone structure beneath. Your liver orchestrates hundreds of functions simultaneously. Weighing several pounds and nestled just beneath your rib cage, the liver performs an astonishing array of tasks. Scientists have identified over 500 distinct biochemical functions it manages continuously. It filters toxins from your blood, produces bile essential for digesting fats, breaks down medications and alcohol, stores energy in chemical form, regulates proteins that control blood clotting, metabolizes fats and proteins, and helps maintain hormonal balance. It also plays crucial roles in immune defense and neutralizing harmful substances you ingest or absorb through skin. Unlike many organs with specialized, singular roles, the liver works on dozens of complex processes simultaneously, like a biochemical control center, humming with silent, tireless activity. It is adaptable, resilient, and uniquely capable of regenerating itself. Your red blood cells sacrifice their nucleus to carry more oxygen. Unlike nearly every other cell type in your body, mature red blood cells lack a nucleus entirely. This seemingly strange absence serves a critical purpose. It makes room for vastly more hemoglobin, the iron-rich protein that binds and transports oxygen. As a result, each red blood cell can carry far more life-sustaining oxygen than would be possible with a nucleus taking up space. Red blood cells begin their existence with a nucleus, but shed it during their final development in the bone marrow. This transformation also gives them their distinctive biconcave disc shape, maximizing surface area while maintaining flexibility. These cells can bend and squeeze through capillaries narrower than a human hair. But this efficient design comes with a trade-off. Without a nucleus, red blood cells cannot repair themselves or divide. After roughly 4 months of tireless service, they're removed from circulation and replaced by fresh ones. Your body contains enough fat to make soap. Fat plays numerous essential roles throughout the human body, storing energy for times of need, insulating against cold, cushioning and protecting vital organs, and producing important hormones that regulate metabolism and reproduction. But if rendered and processed through traditional soap-making chemistry, the average adult carries enough body fat to create roughly 7 full-size bars of soap. This unusual comparison comes from historical practices when soap was commonly made from animal fats combined with alkaline substances. Of course, your fat is far more than raw material. It's metabolically active tissue that communicates constantly with other systems throughout your body. Its distribution and function vary significantly based on genetics, lifestyle, biological sex, and age. Though often misunderstood or viewed negatively in modern culture, fat is absolutely essential for health, survival, and normal bodily function. A single hair strand possesses surprising strength. Though an individual hair appears delicate and easily broken, each strand is remarkably strong for its size. A single human hair can support up to 100 grams of weight without snapping, roughly equivalent to a small apple. This impressive strength emerges from hair's internal structure. Densely packed keratin proteins, tightly coiled and chemically bonded together in multiple layers. When you consider an entire head of hair working together, the collective strength becomes even more impressive, theoretically capable of supporting the weight of an adult person. Beyond raw strength, hair also demonstrates remarkable elasticity. It can stretch up to roughly 30% beyond its normal length when wet and return to its original form without permanent damage. While each individual strand may seem fragile when you find it on a pillow or brush, together they form one of nature's most efficient biological fiber systems. Lightweight, resilient, and quietly powerful. The longest muscle in your body runs from hip to knee. Stretching diagonally across your thigh, the sartorius muscle holds the distinction of being the longest muscle in the human body. It originates from the outer edge of your hip bone, curves gracefully across the front and inner thigh, and finally attaches near the inside of your knee. This slender ribbon of muscle tissue assists in a surprising range of movements, flexing your hip upward, bending your knee, and allowing your leg to rotate outward. It's what enables you to cross your legs comfortably or pivot your foot to the side. Though not particularly large or powerful compared to other thigh muscles, the sartorius plays an elegant supporting role in everyday motion and balance. Its exceptional length and positioning reflect the body's remarkable architectural design, with long functional lines engineered specifically for fluid movement, stability, and subtle motor control. You engage dozens of muscles simply to smile. A smile might seem like one simple, effortless gesture, but it's actually powered by an intricate orchestra of facial muscles working in precise coordination. More than 30 individual muscles activate to lift the corners of your mouth, crease the delicate skin around your eyes, raise your cheeks, and subtly adjust your jaw. Even the slightest variation in the type of smile, genuine joy versus polite acknowledgement versus ironic amusement, can involve different combinations of muscle groups, each reflecting distinct emotional states. Some of these muscles work under voluntary control, while others activate automatically when you experience genuine happiness or amusement. The brain's emotional centers connect directly to these facial muscles through dedicated neural pathways, which is precisely why authentic smiles are so difficult to fake convincingly. Every smile, whether fleeting or sustained, is a delicate performance blending mechanics, emotion, and deeply human connection. Some of your blood vessels are impossibly narrow. Your circulatory system stretches vast distances throughout your body, an intricate network that would span thousands of miles if laid end to end. But some of its most critical passages are also the tiniest imaginable. Capillaries, the smallest blood vessels, are so incredibly narrow that red blood cells must pass through in single file, often bending and squeezing their flexible bodies to fit through openings barely wider than themselves. These microscopic vessels form the crucial connection between arteries and veins, creating the interface where oxygen and nutrients pass from blood into surrounding tissues, and where waste products are collected for removal. Capillary walls are just one cell thick, a gossamer-thin barrier enabling easy diffusion. At this microscopic scale, blood doesn't surge in broad streams, but trickles with precision, slowly and intimately. Life is sustained not only by the powerful rhythmic pulses of the heart, but by these silent, single-file exchanges happening continuously deep within your tissues. Your brain processes all pain, yet cannot experience it directly. The human brain serves as the central interpreter of discomfort and injury throughout your entire body, processing every sensation of pain you've ever felt. Yet remarkably, the brain itself contains no pain receptors whatsoever. Brain tissue can be touched, gently stimulated, or even surgically altered without causing any direct sensation of pain. This is precisely why certain delicate brain surgeries can be performed while patients remain fully awake and alert, allowing surgeons to carefully map critical functional areas by observing responses and asking questions. However, the structures surrounding the brain, the protective membranes called meninges, blood vessels threading through and around it, the scalp and surrounding muscles, are abundantly supplied with pain-sensing nerves. That's why headaches, head trauma, or increased pressure within the skull can produce intense, sometimes overwhelming pain. The pain doesn't originate within brain tissue itself, but from these surrounding structures. The paradox remains profound and striking. The singular organ responsible for processing every feeling and sensation cannot itself register damage to its own substance. There are more connections in your brain than stars scattered across the galaxy. Your brain contains billions upon billions of neurons, and remarkably, each individual neuron can form thousands of connections with other neurons. In total, the number of synaptic connections threading through your brain is estimated in the hundreds of trillions, vastly exceeding the number of stars in the entire Milky Way galaxy. These countless connections form the intricate substrate underlying memory formation, sensory perception, coordinated movement, emotional experience, and consciousness itself. They exist in constant flux, strengthening pathways with repeated use, weakening connections that fall into disuse, and creating entirely new routes in response to learning and experience. Your brain is not a fixed, static structure, but remains fluid and adaptive throughout life, a living constellation of connections perpetually in motion. With each thought that passes through your mind, with each memory you recall, with each emotion you experience, electrical and chemical pulses travel through this vast inner cosmos. Inside your skull lies a universe as complex and mysterious as the one stretching endlessly above the earth. Your body emits a faint glow invisible to naked eyes. You are quietly, continuously bioluminescent, emitting soft photons of light as a natural byproduct of your metabolism. As cells throughout your body process energy and oxygen, reactive molecules interact with cellular fats and proteins, releasing tiny bursts of actual visible spectrum photons into the surrounding space. This biological glow is far too faint for human eyes to perceive directly, roughly 1,000 times dimmer than the minimum threshold of human vision. But with sufficiently sensitive scientific instruments, researchers have successfully captured glowing images of this gentle radiance emanating primarily from faces, chests, and hands. Interestingly, the intensity of this subtle light follows your body's natural internal rhythm, the circadian cycle, gradually increasing to peak in late afternoon before fading through evening and night. Though you cannot see it with your own eyes, you are perpetually, quietly luminous, a tender biological flame burning softly from within, lit continuously by the fundamental chemistry of being alive. Your bones eventually stop growing longer, but never stop adapting. During childhood and adolescence, bones grow rapidly in length as specialized growth plates expand steadily. By your early to mid-20s, these growth plates gradually close and fuse permanently, and your overall height becomes fixed for life. But that certainly doesn't mean your skeleton stops changing and adapting. While length remains constant after growth plates close, bones can continue to increase in thickness, density, and even subtly alter their shape throughout your entire life, especially in direct response to physical stress and activity patterns. If you engage in regular weight-bearing exercise or endure years of physical labor, your bones respond intelligently by becoming progressively denser and broader, reinforcing themselves where stress is greatest. Even the specific contours of your jaw, the shape of your pelvis, and the structure of your ribcage can shift gradually with age and activity. Your bones are never frozen in time. They remain perpetually reactive, dynamic, and exquisitely responsive to how you actually live your life, quietly reshaping and remodeling themselves decades after you stop growing taller. You can survive with surprisingly few of your organs. It might seem intuitively obvious that every organ in your body must be absolutely essential for survival, and indeed, many are critically important. But the human body demonstrates truly remarkable resilience and adaptability. humans can live relatively normal lives without a spleen, with only one kidney instead of two, with only one lung, without a gallbladder, without an appendix, without a stomach, without significant portions of the colon, and even with substantial portions of the liver or small intestine surgically removed. In many cases, these organs must be removed due to disease, injury, or cancer, and remarkably, the remaining organ systems adapt and compensate. A remaining single kidney works harder to handle the full filtering load. The liver, with its extraordinary regenerative capacity, can regrow lost tissue. Bodily functions reroute through alternative pathways and gradually normalize. This impressive adaptability reflects millions upon millions of years of evolutionary development, creating biological backup systems and redundancies. Though each organ certainly serves important, often vital purposes, the body's proven ability to persist and even thrive when incomplete stands as one of its most extraordinary traits. Your intestines stretch far longer than your height, coiled efficiently within your abdomen, folded and packed with remarkable geometric precision. Your intestines extend more than 20 feet in total combined length. The small intestine alone accounts for the vast majority of this distance, stretching perhaps 15 to 20 feet, and bears primary responsibility for absorbing nutrients from digested food. The large intestine, or colon, adds several additional feet, performing the crucial tasks of reclaiming water from waste and compacting remaining material for elimination. All of this considerable tubing fits neatly and compactly inside your relatively small torso through incredibly tight, efficient folds and the natural elasticity of the tissue. If somehow laid out completely straight, your intestines would stretch easily across a modest-sized room. Despite this remarkable length, food typically moves through this entire winding, folded path in a matter of hours, undertaking a continuous journey of digestion, chemical transformation, and nutrient absorption. You carry this complex, lengthy internal pipeline with you always, working silently and efficiently every day, feeding and nourishing every single cell throughout your body. The acid in your stomach can dissolve metal. Inside the muscular chamber of your stomach lies a remarkably powerful fluid, strong enough to break down and dissolve nearly anything you consume. Gastric acid, composed primarily of hydrochloric acid, maintains a pH level low enough and corrosive enough to actually dissolve certain metals, including thin steel, given sufficient time and exposure. Laboratory tests have demonstrated this dramatic capability. This extraordinary chemical strength serves essential purposes, dismantling tough protein structures in food and eliminating potentially harmful bacteria, viruses, and other microbes that might cause illness. Yet your stomach somehow doesn't digest or corrode its own tissue. A constantly renewing protective layer of specialized mucus lines the stomach walls, creating a biochemical shield between your living tissue and the intensely acidic environment. Every single meal you consume triggers this carefully controlled biochemical reaction, a managed burst of chemical fire powerful enough to break complex food down to its most basic molecular building blocks, enabling nutrients to pass into your bloodstream and sustain life. You produce nearly a liter of mucus every single day. Though mucus rarely receives appreciation or attention, it ranks among your body's most versatile, multifunctional, and genuinely essential substances. Every day, your respiratory passages and digestive tract together generate nearly a full liter of mucus. It continuously lines your nose, throat, lungs, and gut, serving as a sticky trap for dust particles, bacteria, allergens, and other potentially harmful materials before they can penetrate into deeper, more vulnerable tissues. Mucus keeps delicate airways appropriately moist, helps propel food smoothly through your intestines, and contains specialized enzymes and antibodies that actively fight infection. Most of the time, you unconsciously swallow mucus without ever noticing its presence. It's certainly not glamorous or pleasant to think about, but it performs absolutely critical protective functions. This slippery, largely invisible barrier works tirelessly every moment to protect, coat, lubricate, and efficiently carry away the constant microscopic debris of living, operating in quiet, constant, faithful service to your health. You blink thousands upon thousands of times daily. Without any conscious thought or effort, your eyelids close and reopen roughly 20 times every single minute throughout your waking hours. Each individual blink lasts only a tiny fraction of a second, barely noticeable in the flow of experience. But over the course of a full year, these brief closures add up to more than 10 million separate blinks. These tiny, repetitive movements serve multiple important purposes beyond simple moisture. They help rest your visual processing system momentarily, refresh and redistribute the protective tear film coating your eyes, sweep away dust and tiny particles, and shield your sensitive eyes from sudden bright flashes or changes in light intensity. Remarkably, your brain possesses the sophisticated ability to edit out the darkness and visual interruption during each blink, seamlessly creating a continuous, unbroken sense of vision, even though your eyes are actually briefly shut multiple times every minute. Blinking operates as both a mechanical and neurological phenomenon, a biological rhythm that maintains absolute clarity of sight without ever noticeably interrupting your smooth, continuous visual experience of the world. Your muscles maintain gentle tension, even in complete rest. Even when you're lying down completely relaxed, even when you feel entirely still and at ease, your muscles are never truly entirely slack or inactive. They perpetually maintain a subtle baseline state of partial contraction, a phenomenon known as muscle tone, carefully controlled and regulated by constant signals from your nervous system. This gentle, ongoing baseline tension allows your body to remain upright against gravity, maintain balance and posture, and stay ready to move quickly if needed. Without this constant low-level muscular readiness, you would simply slump or collapse, completely unable to maintain any stable posture. This state of perpetual gentle readiness uses remarkably little energy, yet provides immense stability and responsiveness. Even as you sleep deeply, muscle tone persists at reduced levels, just enough to keep your limbs properly aligned and your breathing steady and regular. It's only during certain specific stages of deep sleep that some muscles finally relax more completely. At virtually all other times, throughout every moment of your waking and sleeping life, your body quietly holds itself together, maintains its form, a gentle background hum of readiness humming softly beneath your skin. Your heart beats tirelessly throughout your entire existence. Each and every day, your heart contracts roughly 100,000 times, an astronomical number that becomes even more staggering when multiplied across weeks, months, years. It circulates blood through an intricate network of vessels that stretches enormous distances throughout every region of your body. That amounts to tens of millions of beats per year and more than 2.5 billion beats over an average human lifetime. Your heart never pauses, never rests, never takes a break. From your very earliest moments of existence developing in the womb, before you took your first breath or opened your eyes, until your very final moment, your heart works without interruption or complaint, squeezing, filling, releasing in rhythmic perfection. It adjusts its pace continuously and automatically in response to your body's changing needs, your posture, your physical activity, your breathing patterns, your emotional state. It slows to a gentle rhythm when you sleep peacefully, quickens energetically when you move or exercise, and even flutters responsively when you feel strong emotions. Your heart truly is the fundamental pulse of your existence, a steady, reliable percussion beating softly beneath all the varied music of your body and your life. Your tongue bears patterns completely unique to you. No two human tongues are exactly alike in their surface, patterns, and texture. Just like fingerprints, which have long been used for identification, the surface of your tongue displays highly distinct patterns of ridges, bumps, textures, and muscular contours that belong uniquely and exclusively to you. While tongue prints are not commonly used in practice for identification purposes, they are so remarkably specific and individual that biometric security researchers have seriously explored their potential for highly secure recognition and authentication systems. Your tongue's particular appearance results from a complex combination of genetic inheritance, developmental processes before birth, and lifelong habits of use, influenced by how you speak, chew, taste, and swallow throughout your life. It functions as an organ of remarkable precision, surprising strength, and exquisite sensitivity, with extraordinarily fine motor control enabling clear articulation of speech, safe and efficient eating, and the refined ability to detect subtle flavors and textures in extraordinary detail. Quietly, invisibly, without any fanfare, your tongue carries your own completely unique personal signature. You are literally constructed from ancient starlight and cosmic dust. Every single atom in your body that is heavier than the simplest hydrogen was originally forged deep inside the heart of a star in the distant past. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, iron, phosphorus, all the fundamental elements composing your cells, forming your bones, flowing through your blood, were created inside massive stellar furnaces through nuclear fusion processes involving unimaginable temperatures and crushing pressures. When these massive ancient stars eventually reached the end of their life cycles and transformed themselves in spectacular stellar events, scattering their material across vast reaches of space, they seeded the raw elemental materials that would eventually form planets, oceans, atmospheres, and ultimately living organisms. The very atoms that now form your body, that allow you to think and feel and exist, once drifted alone in the cold, dark emptiness between stars for unimaginable stretches of time before gradually finding their way to Earth, then into soil and water, then into food, and finally into you. You are constructed not just of ordinary matter, but of deep cosmic time, of ancient stellar history, of the long, patient memory of stars that died billions of years before you were born. And so, as we reach the end of our gentle journey through these 100 quiet marvels, let yourself rest in the knowledge of what you are. You are not separate from the universe, but woven intimately into its fabric, built from starlight, animated by electricity, protected by invisible ecosystems, renewed constantly by processes you'll never consciously witness. Every breath you take, every beat of your heart, every thought drifting through your mind is part of an ancient, intricate dance that stretches back to the beginning of time itself. Your body knows how to rest, how to heal, how to restore itself while you sleep. It has been doing this faithfully since before you were born, and it will continue tonight and every night, working quietly in the darkness to prepare you for tomorrow. There is nothing you need to do now, but allow yourself to drift, to float, to surrender to the gentle current of sleep that has been waiting patiently for you all along. Let the weight of your body sink softly into whatever supports you. Feel the quiet rhythm of your breathing, steady and automatic, requiring no effort or attention. Your heart continues its faithful work. Your cells continue their silent regeneration. The universe within you mirrors the universe around you, both vast, both mysterious, both infinitely kind. You are exactly where you need to be. You are safe. You are whole. You are enough, just as you are, in this moment, in this breath, in this gentle descent into rest. Sleep well, traveler. May your dreams be soft and your rest complete. Good night.